guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to be talking about unsteady income and holiday pay and things that you can do to mitigate these finance issues that you will get if you're thinking about starting up your own business. Now, this video comes off a video I did at the start of my YouTube channel where I talk about my 3 favourite things about self-employment and the 3 sort of knockbacks or setbacks of self-employment, predominantly at the beginning when you're in my sort of situation at the startup phase. Now, so yeah, let me just go straight in and talk about these with you guys. Right, so unsteady income. Right, that is like the most risky thing you think of when you're thinking about becoming self-employed, is how am I going to pay rent, how am I going to pay the mortgage, where's my next paycheck coming from? And it is daunting, and it definitely can be something that is worth considering whether it's going to be worth it for you to do this in the short term in order for you to get those long-term gains. Now, my first point on my advice list is, like, if you can stay in your full-time job just for a couple more months or even a year, or if you can stay in your full-time job whilst doing a business on the side, I would highly advise it, because that's something that I've kind of learned from, is that I quit my job with like no real plan, just like quit, and then I wasn't getting any income, and paying my mortgage is constantly sort of like a worry. If I could have stayed in my full-time job and done all of this whilst I was using my spare time, it might have been a little bit more, I would have had money to invest in ads and still been able to pay the bills and still been able to go out with my friends and do little things like that. So what happened to me is I quit my job and I was like, oh my lord, so I couldn't go out with my friends. I still can't go out with my friends. They probably hate me by now. I can't afford to go out with my friends. I couldn't afford to do any fun plans over the summer. So these are the type of things that you have to be prepared to cut out of your life when you're thinking about becoming self-employed, if you don't have a lot of money up front. So I literally have started from 0 and I'm still pretty much at 0, but I have made so much progress in the last 6 months, so I definitely am on the right tracks. And yeah, if I could have tolerated my job, I would have stayed a little bit longer, because the salary would have covered like marketing spend, and I could have also just not had to worry about the bills. But then also you do lose out on all that time, and it's quite hard to stay in your job when you've got something so exciting at home waiting for you. But if you do like your job, but you are just looking for that little bit more, then I would advise you to stay there and save as much money as you possibly can, which brings me on to my second point. So what you need to do is you need to sit down, open up Excel or Google Sheets or whatever, go through all your bank details and just check, right, how much am I paying out every month? So check in your personal one, in your joint account one, in your credit card one, because sometimes we do sign up for things and we don't actually realise that we're still paying for that thing. Like, some people don't check their bank accounts at all. So it's good to make a personal survival budget. So I've got, for example, I've got car, phone, mortgage, joint account bills, and then I also have things like Adobe, Creative Cloud, Shopify, Canva. So they're like business ones. So I've got personal ones and business ones, but because I'm such a startup and it's just me, I've combined them both together, because that's how much money I'm going to need every month to, one, run my business, and one, pay to live, basically. So that's a very important figure. So for me, my personal survival budget is about £800 a month, and that actually is excluding all the business costs. So on top of that, it's about £950 per month that I actually need to find in order just to live. So yeah, it's a lot of money when you think about it. It doesn't sound a lot compared to, you know, if you're getting a £2,000 salary every month, finding £900 doesn't sound that lot, but it is really hard when you're starting from the bottom up. So if you can get your personal survival budget clear in your brain of how much you need, then, for example, if I was working full-time and I was thinking, right, I'd like to save enough so that I could live without a job for a year, for example. I'll take the business costs out of it because you might not have started yet. So I'm just going to say £800. Yeah, so I'd need £9,600 to live without a job for 1 year, and that's without going out, that's without going on holiday, that is purely just outgoings. So that's literally no life. So if you wanted to add a couple grand onto that to actually have a life, then that's how much you need to save. So saving, some people have real issues with saving, so I would advise that you come up with a savings plan. Maybe if you have got 2 banks, you could do a standing order from your current account over to a different account every payday, so that you know that money is going into another account. And if you open up, so for example, I've got a Royal Bank of Scotland account where my wages went into, and then I had a Halifax account where I was saving money. I received the Halifax credit card, debit card through the post, and I cut it up straight away and put it in the bin. But what I did do is create a standing order from my Royal Bank of Scotland account over to my Halifax account every payday, so without fail, I just knew there was money going in there. And I think I even forgot about my bank login for my Halifax account. So I went in there one day and I was like, oh my God, I've actually got this much money in there, which is always good. So yeah, if you'd watch some of my old vlogs, you'd know that I left my job with 2 grand to save me, basically. So yeah, it's been tough. So yeah, that was actually point 3. So my point 1 is stay in your full-time job as long as possible. Point 2 is write up a personal survival budget, and point 3 is to make sure you save enough money in that time to cover you if you are thinking about leaving and going full-time. But you need to know what your personal survival budget is to begin with, and I would advise on cutting back on a lot of stuff that you might be a bit scared to cut back on. So I had to drop a few things. Like I had nice little things like Audible, Netflix, Amazon Prime, and yeah, they're only small, but altogether it's like 30 quid, and when you're really scrambling for money, like that's a lot of money. What else did I have to give up? I had to give up my my phone bill, for example, like that went up, and then I was like, what can I do? I need to get that down somehow, so just give them a ring and see if I get that down. Also credit cards as well. You might have a lot of money on your credit cards. See if you can get a lower balance from balance transferring over to different cards and things like that. So yeah, it's all about getting your personal survival budget, seeing what you can get rid of. You don't need Netflix, you don't need Amazon Prime, you don't need Audible, you don't need whatever subscriptions. I also had a couple of apps, like photo editing apps, which I've very rarely used, and I had to get rid of those subscriptions as well, just to really, you want it to be lean as possible. So the hardest one for me, I think, at the moment is seeing my friends. It's really hard to get some of them to understand that I don't have any money, like 0. So I can't actually do anything. And I think it's hard because, they don't want to just go do nothing for free. Like, why should they? They're getting paid well. Why should they just always do absolutely boring things with me because I haven't got any money? It's like, it does make me feel like shit all the time, actually. And even when, like, me and my partner are thinking about going out, and I was like, oh, that'd be nice, but yeah, I can't afford it. So it's constantly embarrassing, and it does get me down, but it's very rare for, like, in the week, that might be one conversation for 5 minutes out of all the other minutes and hours and whatever in the week. So, like, yeah, they're not nice, but they'll be thankful in a couple of years when you can take them out for meals and pay for them to go out and things like that. So it's definitely worth it. But yeah, you do need to cut back on a lot. Like, I'm lucky my partner's buying me a ticket to Thailand, so that's how I'm managing to go on holiday this year. But we didn't go on holiday at all last year, and to be honest, I didn't really do anything last year other than, did I do anything last year? I can't even remember last year. It's just such a blur, like, such a blur. Time, like, merges into so much big of a blob when you're just working for yourself in your own bedroom and things. Anyway, so what I've had to do is, so I only had 2 grand, and that was pretty much it was wearing thin. And luckily I got a part-time job in a social media agency where I was working 4 hours every day. It was just, like, mentally draining. It was too much marketing for, like, one day doing that and coming back and doing Pethai. And I just found myself not doing much on Pethai when I was working there. It was kind of more like a full-time job, but, like, without the pay. So I left there in December, and then I was kind of like fully unemployed, no part-time job, no money coming in, nothing between December and January. But I was making quite a lot of sales in January. I made £700, which isn't bad. And now I've got a part-time job, just a Saturday, in a shop that's run by a female entrepreneur. And yeah, I just do that every Saturday for 7.5 hours. Like, you might think, oh, like, you're going back to a shop, because I used to work in a shop when I was a teenager. But sometimes you have to take step backs to make leaps forward. And I actually really enjoy working there. It's so nice, and the products are great. And like, that's what I'm passionate about, is products. So I've got a nice part-time job. Doesn't cover the bills at all yet, but I'm getting there. I can feel it in my bones. I finished my business plan and I'm getting there. So yeah, you might need to go out and get a part-time job before you quit, so that when you do quit your full-time job, you've got the contingency that fund that you've raised from your salary, and then you've got also a part-time job which could cover your personal survival budget, and then you could still have some more savings to invest in the business going forward. So that's definitely one thing that I would highly recommend, is get a part-time job. Even if you think you feel like, no, I can do this really quickly, it's always best to just get one anyway. It just helps with the bills, like the non-business related bills. It just really does help. And even if you got the bills covered, you could just use that money to just spend with time with family and friends, which is something that I can't do. And then my next point is get an accountant. Now, I need one ASAP. So if you're an accountant who deals with small businesses who don't know what they're doing, then get in touch. So they're all my points. I can't really say much about get an accountant because I don't have one, and I have no idea what to do when it comes to tax and all that crap. So that's another video. If you saw the previous video, the 3 things that I like and don't like, you'll see that one of them is self-assessment, and I clearly state I don't know what I'm doing, so don't take my advice on anything to do with that. But what I am going to do, when I do my self-assessment, I will be vlogging and just showing you like the mistakes that I'm making so that you can learn from them. Anyway, that's all I've got for today. I am going to an event tonight, so I will see you next week.